I'm very pleased to have our next guest. She is spending her first day in Saratoga. I'm sure many of you know her from TVG. You will soon know her from NBC, where she will be appearing this weekend, as she appeared back at Churchill Downs. Britney Eurton.
Not this weekend, though. Not at TVG this weekend.
Oh.
NBC Woodward weekend.
So we got 2 weekends of you.
You get 2 weekends of
That's
me.
pretty
Exactly.
exciting. Oh, you're just doing TVG stuff and not NBC.
Exactly.
Not just. Really?
Yeah, it'll be fun stuff, though.
That's pretty
Whitney
exciting.
Walk. We start very early.
What exactly is does it involve Mike Joyce drinking by any chance?
That it does.
That's a shock.
So you guys stole Pauly, right? So I'm taking Pauly's place along with
We stole
Matt
Pauly.
Carruthers and Scott Hazelton's going to be with us. I think Caton's going to join us.
Really?
I don't know. It'll be fun.
What exactly is it?
This is my first time. It's
You
my
don't
Whitney
know the
Walk
route?
debut. I think that we just hop from bar to bar and try to be able to walk afterwards.
That's called a night in Saratoga, Brittany. I hate to tell you, but that's not really a
Well,
walk.
this is my first night in Saratoga.
So
I'm
when,
ready.
When is it exactly? What?
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So you get drunk before you go on air.
Yeah, it'll be great television.
Well, Joyce
Everybody
is used to
tune
that,
in.
right? That's pretty much what Mike Joyce does every day, right?
We all have a little cocktail beforehand, right?
Right,
That
right.
makes for better television, does it not?
Mike is one of my favorite guys, and it's great when you guys come here. I've seen everybody. Matt's here for like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. He was here. He went to the Haskell as well. They took a bus, I think,
I heard
down
that.
there.
I heard that.
He'll be here, and so it'll be fun to be a part of the Saratoga team.
And how long are you here this weekend? Through till Monday?
Tuesday. So I hear that the sale is the place to be.
Oh yeah, the sales are great.
So I'm staying
Everybody
for the
goes
sale.
to sales, right?
Because is there even a sale that goes on, or is it just a cocktail party?
It's a cocktail party. I mean, the sale.
Right?
There's no greater bar than the sales.
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard, though. Why do they not have more bars at sales? I mean, I would just start raising my hand.
Yeah.
$1 million, yes.
Right. That's what Saul does, and I'm sure you'll see him at
Yeah.
the sale. Right, exactly. No, it really is great. I mean, when you go over the sale on Monday, and I'm sure many people have done that, assuming the weather's okay, and it's packed. I mean, there's thousands of people there. It's incredible.
And it's fancy, I hear, as well, right?
Well, you can
Dressed
do
to the
whatever you
nines.
want.
Will we see you in a nice tuxedo?
No.
No. I'm envisioning you in a tuxedo. Very dapper.
Apparently. Yeah, I left my tux at home. I don't
All
wear it
right.
a lot on the show. I didn't want to show up Pauly. Or Greg.
Or Greg.
Greg's not even listening. By the way,
He's not.
you're here and Greg's over there talking to Josh.
What's going on here?
And ignoring my mom, too.
I listened to your segment.
Really? I'm glad somebody did. So anyway, how about, now this is your first time in Saratoga.
Right.
So we can't quite ask you yet to compare Del Mar and Saratoga.
No, it would be too hard. It was something I actually was just talking with Greg about. Is obviously I love Del Mar. I've grown up there. I've gone to Del Mar every summer. Do you
Get
need
your
to
phone,
answer?
will you? It's not my phone.
Do you need to
It's
answer
ringing.
that?
It's not my phone. I don't have any friends. Nobody calls me. You're here. You're my own friend.
That's true. I would believe that. I can't compare it because I've only been here one day, but this is amazing and something that I love about Kentucky, and I'm sure I will love about Saratoga. It's such a horse racing community, and you're always going to run into somebody you know. I'm not sure if that's always a good thing, but usually it is.
It's occasionally a good thing, but it's true. I mean, you'll find if you go out in Saratoga, you will be very well received. Now, people up here are great. I mean, and I'm sure Greg can say it as well. And Paul, by the way, sitting with LaDuca, because he sat in the paddock tent with me. Wow. I mean, everybody wants to come up and talk to him.
No kidding. Everyone was yelling when we'd be on set together, Pauly!
Incredible.
How about those Dodgers, you know? Luckily enough, he is the nicest guy to my dad, who is probably the biggest Dodgers fan you will ever meet. Just chews his ear off about him. So he's been nice about that.
So your dad's a trainer, of course. I don't know if people are familiar, Peter Eurton. And now, getting involved in racing, have you, because you were around racing, were you at the track a lot as a kid and always around the racetrack, or not as much?
I think when I was younger, I went to the track quite a bit. I mean, I had one of those instances where I was chased by a loose horse. Yeah. So my dad picked me up by the pants and threw me over the fence right there. And I don't think I went back for quite a few years because I was terrified, you know. And then I went through the not wanting to hang out with my parents phase. Didn't go to the racetrack a lot. But then the older I got and the larger my dad's barn got, I just fell back in love with it. And you couldn't really keep me away.
And now that you're working at TVG, you're basically, you guys are basically there every day now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, were you in the studio more, but now you're the track more, or were you always at the track a lot?
I was always at the track. I think when I signed on, they had a position available for a reporter, so they really primed and prepped me. I trained underneath Mike Joyce, who I call Yoda, or Mr. Mike, and they just had me pretty much reporting 4 of the 5 days of the week whenever they were racing, and then I would come down here to Del Mar, pretty much shadowed him, and then started reporting on my own, and then now I do some hosting as well.
You do. So when you're not here, you're at Del Mar every day.
Every day.
Right, and I saw you there when they had the fall meet. I can't make it this year. The timing isn't right.
Oh, come on. Breeders' Cup.
We'll see if I can make the Breeders' Cup.
You've got to make the Breeders'
It's
Cup.
opening weekend at Aqueduct. I mean, who could miss opening weekend? Who would want to go to, like, Del Mar when you could be at opening weekend at Aqueduct, right?
Aqueduct, Breeders' Cup. I mean, it's just...
It's a tough decision. If the subway would go to Del Mar, I'd be in.
You would take it?
Right.
You don't take the subway.
Right.
There's no way you take the subway.
I take the subway to Aqueduct every day.
Really?
The A train.
I love the subway.
Goes
This
right-
is why I'll say this right now if anybody's listening from California, I'm sorry. I would love to move to New York in a heartbeat.
Well,
I kind of feel like should have been born here at least.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that?
No,
'cause
I'm
you're
not
here?
just saying that.
Really?
I've told you this before. I am a New Yorker at heart, I feel
Well, we
like.
discussed this because you were in Europe for a few weeks, right?
I was.
Was that a
I
family
thought-
trip?
It was partially a family trip, and then the rest of it was a friend's trip. I saw Norm Cassie earlier today, and he was giving me a hard time. How long were you on that trip for? Too long.
Really? Well, that's Norm. Did you ask Norm about sucking up to the Queen? How he worked that out?
Well,
Norm was here
I
last
mean,
week, by the way.
He won the Queen Anne with Teppan, so I think he's allowed.
I don't know. It was all a big ploy by him. You went to the Globe. The Globe? Was that their picture of see some Shakespeare?
No, I've been to the Globe before, but that was an opera hall in Bordeaux, France.
Really?
Right? Yeah, it was
Wow, I'm
Romeo and
impressed.
Juliet.
We talked
it was very
about this.
good. I think my dad fell asleep probably after the first intermission.
Well, it's a long play, and
It
it's
is
got kind of
long.
a sad ending.
Lots
You know how
of
that goes. It doesn't
dancing.
really go that
He's
well.
like, can you just tell me what happens at the end? Like, you don't know what happens at the end of Romeo and Juliet?
Right. It's
Poor
sort of
Dad.
it's sort of the same thing. They all sort of end the same way. So, how did you get into broadcasting in general and then end up at TVG?
Well, acting's my background. So I graduated from USC with a business degree, and while I was there, I was studying acting in a separate studio. And that was my passion. I love film, I love television, but if anybody knows acting, it's difficult. It's a grind, auditioning all the time. It was tough. So that was when I started going back to the races a lot, and TVG approached me asking if I wanted to audition because I had the acting background, I had the love for horses, and obviously the background with my father, and so I did, and I guess it went well.
Yeah,
The
it did.
rest is history.
How many years has it been now? It's been a while,
It
right?
will be 4 in November.
That's good. So, and you lost Greg. Is it hard to lose Greg?
It was very hard to lose Greg.
I imagine it was. It would be hard
Yeah.
for me. Now that I have him, I don't want to lose him.
You don't want to lose him, I get it.
Now, let's talk about Arrogate, since you were out in California when he bombed.
Yes.
How did you talk to Baffert after he bombed?
I
Or you-
have. I've spoken to Baffert quite a bit about it, and he says what everybody's reading. He was completely puzzled by the performance. He obviously is reflecting on how he trained him up to the race, saying maybe I did too much with him and collected, because he also thought, he also thought that Cat Burglar came up pretty flat that day too. Maybe I did too much with him. Maybe I underestimated the competition. Maybe I didn't have him tight enough. He's obviously replaying all of these things in his head, but simply he was flat. And he's not giving any sort of excuses for the horse. He did not show up that day. But from what I hear, he was very giddy about his workout on Tuesday, and he says, we're in. We're going to the Pacific Classic. And I also heard he dabbed.
What does that mean?
Cam Newton. Do I have to do it?
I don't know anything about
I mean, it's like
football.
kind of,
I
he
don't
does
watch-
that.
Really?
Yeah. Baffert does that with his son Bodie. And so
Bob-
he did that
oh,
apparently
Bob does that. I
after Arrowgate worked on Tuesday.
Really? I'm sorry I missed that. It's really been
It's good stuff.
Been a great moment for me to have seen. I'm still mad at Bob. He blew us off. He was supposed to come on when Meredith Farrell lost because he didn't show up at the show.
You think so?
I think
or
that's
was
a
it because you picked American Pharoah that day?
Probably a combination of both. I think I
Things
picked
I've
him because
learned.
Bob didn't show up, actually. It's the only time I actually ever picked him. I certainly didn't pick him in the Breeders' Cup when he won. Stellar Wynn won the other day. I love her. I
She's
think
the
she's
best.
great.
Wait, you do?
I'm a huge
Wait, we found
Stellar
a horse
fan.
that you love?
I'm a huge fan of Stellar Wynn's.
Okay, good. Well,
I liked her when she was down in Maryland, and then she went out to California. Very impressed by her. Love her.
She's such a hard knocker, right?
Yeah, she's
You
terrific.
cannot get into a dogfight with her because you will lose.
Yeah, I think she's the. I know that everybody thinks Songbirds. I think she's the best horse.
She stares at you. Have you ever met her in person?
No.
It's kind of a creepy stare,
We
too.
have a texting relationship.
You do?
but we
That's
haven't
sweet.
gotten together.
Maybe you
It's
can
one of those
enhance
modern
that relationship
internet-type relationships.
if you come out for the Breeders' Cup.
Really? You don't think? Well, is she going to? I
Don't
hear
just keep
she's
it a
not
texting
going to run
relationship.
before the Breeders' Cup. Is that really true?
Well, he thought that possibly in the Zenyatta last year that she didn't have enough going into the Breeders' Cup. So she runs well
at
fresh.
Saratoga,
Songbird.
but she could come too. And I love her, and she could come see me. Is
I think
Songbird coming?
you should
Is
make
Songbird
the
coming? I
effort.
thought they said they're not coming to the personal ensign.
So I heard
that a
rumors
ploy?
that she was going to go to the Pacific Classic. So I
Yeah,
call
that'll
up
happen.
Dan Ward, and
That'll
he
happen.
says, we nominated her to that race and the personal ensign. But now I'm hearing rumors that she might go into the Woodward.
We'll see her in the personal ensign.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I think that she'll be in the. That's where she should be running.
You don't want to watch her, though.
You know,
You're not a
I
fan.
mean, to be fair, I think that Jerry Hollander who probably really ran her in Delaware because Rick Porter wanted to see her run down there, and I think that's one of the reasons she didn't run as well as you could normally expect. To be fair,
Absolutely. But regardless of how much she won, by seeing him walk her in after everything he's been through, it was a great moment.
there are things about racing that are more important than impressive wins, and I think that was one of them.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
So so it's great to have you here. Maybe you'll come back and visit us on Woodward weekend as well.
I think I shall.
That'll
I think
be
it's
great.
already on the calendar.
That's great. Well, we can't wait
If
to see
I'm
you.
welcomed back, but everyone has been so nice since I've got here.
Isn't it great to have Brittany here? I mean, how great is it, right?
Thank you, guys.
We had to put up with Greg just to get to Brittany. Thanks a lot for joining us,
Thank
Brittany.
you,
I'll see you
Andy.
around this weekend. If I can figure out where I am, we'll go to break.